Financially in the markets, and it's great to welcome back on the program friend of the show, Sandeep Jadwani, the award-winning head of investment advisory from PEP and Family Offices Financial Advisors. Sandeep, great to have you in the studio. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here as well, and it's amazing how things are coming up, and it's amazing that activity has started in full flow across the sports sectors, in financial markets, and activities in general.
Yes, so many businesses in this part of the world obviously take the foot off the accelerator during the summer months. People are travelling, business tends to slow down. But for you, given across Europe and North America, it's busier than ever when it comes to global markets.
So I think it's amazing that how markets have fared, how attitudes have changed of people. Okay, if we take a step back into starting of the year, what happened and what the forecasting was, that interest rates are going to go up. They did go up, and the impact of increasing interest rate would have on the savings of individuals. Okay, but because these people had saved up for so long, and there was so much of pent-up demand, and let me put it this way, frustration of not spending, when markets opened up and it all looked very gloomy, it all looked very positive, people went out and started spending money. So that is being reflected in stock markets today, that despite interest rates going up, despite your installments of your mortgages and other loans and cards going up, you're still spending. So till the time spending is there in the market, companies listed on the stock exchange will show profitability, and they will keep going up as well.
So spending is not necessarily bad, right? I mean, we normally say that, hey, don't overspend, don't try and spend too much, save for the rainy day. But if you keep saving, if you keep holding on to the cash that you have in your hand, the market won't turn up. So it's not necessarily an evil.
So it's not about necessary or evil. These are two oxymorons, I would say, necessity and evils, right? So if you're spending for your food, housing, your insurances, your investments, that's a different thing. But if you're going out and doing discretionary spend of the money that you don't have, thinking that you'll pull out a loan or use your credit card and buy, let's say, a luxury watch. You could very well do away with something else, but you would go 10x beyond your savings and buy something and then regret later on. You may enjoy it for the moment on your Instagrams and your other social media platforms, but eventually you'll regret it, right?
Well, Sandeep, talking about social media platforms, Facebook's Meta, it's really gone in for the kill. They've gone straight up against Twitter. How has the market responded to this?
So, a month back, you remember there was this smoke about the cage match between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. So this is the start of the cage match, right? What's happening is that two social media platforms on similar lines coming up against each other. Now, Twitter on the other side, was purchased for $44 billion. Okay, and after that, a whole lot of things happened. At the Twitter management, their employees and everything else. It also created some negative aura around it. But with Threads coming in, I think just to give a background about Threads was introduced in the year 2018 as well.
Really?
That's right, yeah. There's a reintroduction of Threads.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it was not able to compete with Twitter because it was another Me Too product. Okay. And now I think the timing was opportune. The product was already made. It was just about rebranding it. And the best part is that it played with people's minds of today of instant gratification. Okay, because instant gratification not only about your likes and postings, but getting immediate followers with single sign-on. So you don't really have to create a new account. You already have your Instagrams. You go in and suddenly you see in 15 minutes you have all your followers there and you're happy.
Yeah, so it's convenient. It's not logging in, new passwords, new account, which is so frustrating.
Yes.
One of the other things, though, the flip side is for Elon Musk. This might be bad for Twitter, but it's been a great week for Tesla. They were one of the biggest market movers. I saw that their productivity announcements were well beyond market expectations.
So another very, very interesting thing that you lose some, you win some. And this is what we're seeing as Tesla groups right? The group companies under Elon Musk. Twitter is losing. Probably there's a reason to it. We don't know yet. Thankfully, it's not a public listed company anymore. But when it comes to publicly listed companies like Tesla, it is one of the biggest EV players or the biggest EV manufacturers in the world. Okay, and they are leaders in the pack. Okay, they've got their charging stations network done where other car manufacturers are piggybacking and using their charging network to charge a second car and not a Tesla. And that creates a lot of visibility for the brand. And inevitably, the sales go up because, they are leaders in the same thing. They might not be leaders in car manufacturing, but definitely on the EV side they are. And that has made some phenomenal progress to the overall company itself.
When you say that, they definitely are the biggest ones, the biggest names in EV. Yes, they have the first mover advantage. They are a big brand to reckon with. But now that we see German brands like Mercedes, BMW, Audi's coming up with their own EVs, and they have better experience of manufacturing cars, wouldn't it become like a little challenge in a few years to come where technology will definitely take its own curve, but because a German manufacturer knows how to build a better car, they're building better cars with the same technology that Tesla has and compete head on?
So there are two sides of this. A Nokia moment for Tesla, which clearly we don't see in the next 10 years because Tesla as a company has redeployed its money towards setting up their battery manufacturing units.
Okay.
So which means their key raw material is in-house for them. Okay, they've built bigger facilities to produce that, and with the transition of the governments to move into cleaner energy vehicles, that is giving them a lot of subsidies and carbon credits. Because Tesla as a pure EV company, they don't they're always carbon neutral, so
Right.
to say, and they get credits because they have surplus of carbon credits, and their monies also come in by selling those carbon credits to someone else. So it's not only by selling cars. Selling good number of cars is good for them, but what are the other sources of income is what makes the entire company.
This is interesting. Now, 6 months in the year, if we have to review, we have to look back at what the year has been and what the year could be for investors, for small-time investors like you and I. How does one sit and analyze all of this, Sandeep?
So it's always good to be very objective about what you want to do with your money. Okay, now we're talking financials. Okay, I want to buy something in the next 3 years. I want to spend something immediately in the next 2 months. So if you're saving for the long term, which is 5 years and above, you don't save, you invest.
Okay.
Okay. If you are saving for the short run, you actually go in with your current accounts.
Okay.
For the midterm, you keep going on an SIP basis, which is systematic investment plans. You contribute towards building up your capital pot. Okay. Something that is cost efficient, not going in with any product or solution that provides you with a lock-in. Something that's easy to come in, easy to go out, market-driven, no penalty fees, no pre-closures, no nothing. So that's the way to go about on any scenario. Now, starting of the year, I remember we spoke, I think December end or January first week, what 2023 will have for us. And there were a few predictions that we made, okay, or forecasting, so to say, that gold will remain around the 2,200 levels. Today, gold is around 2,1950 to 2,000 levels. 10% here from up from here is with uncertainty coming in, that will be hover around that mark. Interest rates, we had anticipated interest rates will remain, US dollar interest rates will remain around the 5 to 5.25 mark. Today, that prediction has gone up, in some cases, even 6%,
Yep.
the overnight rates. Okay, stock markets, we anticipated from that time it'll go up by 15%, but as we see, it has gone up by 39%, particularly the Nasdaq. Okay, and it has come out of the bear run because October lows. From the October lows, it went up by more than 20%, and that is what a definition of a bull run is.
When we're looking at many of the markets, we can see the major indexes across Europe are completely down today. The major ones are down. There seems to be growing consumer confidence dropping across Europe. I think that Germany, very close to a recession, their manufacturing is just pulling them out of it. I speak to friends, and this is colloquial evidence, certainly in the United Kingdom there's an overwhelming, I mean, the English are quite often negative sometimes, but, they're even more so than ever. You sense that consumer confidence. But here we are positioned. It seems like that's not affecting us. The UAE and the Gulf countries continue to be immune in many ways from those situations.
So it also has to do something, a lot to do with how UAE or the GCC countries have faced the biggest challenges that we know, particularly the COVID, okay, and how they embraced quick turnarounds and solution providers. If you know, yesterday, the Ministry of Finance announced a Ministry of Investment, which will be headed by Mohammed Al-Suwaidi.
Yes.
Okay. And this was indeed a fantastic move because there's huge competition coming in from Saudi Arabia in terms of attracting good capital. And since they are sitting on so much cash, the petrodollars as we call it, and they've just now started deploying money outside. Okay, and they are not discreet about it. They are very vocal. They act. The Saudi funds, are flamboyant as well. Okay, and they are what we call the new age investments. Okay, so the difference between millennial versus a Gen Z versus a baby boomer. Okay, how the thought processes change and everything. But it's fantastic to see. This competition is fantastic because it really enables authorities to be very cognizant of the fact that how to reduce risk and optimize returns and attract and better offer solutions to everyone who's coming in with capital.
On that idea of the Ministry of Investment, was the financial community aware of this prior to the announcement? Had you been hearing rumours about this?
Not really, and nothing about it actually. But what we knew was there was a separate department that was going to set up, but not at a federal level. Okay, so maybe a small segment who will oversee how investments are going. It'll manage the risk and the operations bit of it, so there's no overlapping, and there's more coordination between various other sectors, investment sectors, and investment authorities within the UAE. Okay, so it's not at a state level or something, but it is a federal level department and ministry.
So there can be a continuity, and we can see that the states are working together towards that common goal.
Absolutely, because the moment we start seeing everyone coming together, okay, it is no more my own emirate that needs to grow. It is UAE as a whole that needs to grow.
Yeah, because yesterday, on that point, we were talking to one of the real estate expert, and we would try to understand that the boom that we're seeing in real estate, is it Dubai centric, or has it spread out to say Abu Dhabi or Ajman or Sharjah for that matter? But the real estate specifically has been very Dubai centric. So over there, at least the federal effect hasn't really come through.
So consider UAE as a portfolio of investments. Okay, where Abu Dhabi becomes the financial and the energy sector.
Right.
Dubai becomes the more tourism and real estate sector. Ajman and other smaller emirates are more to do with agri as well.
Okay.
So it's a diversified view of everything, and with enough capital available, how to further diversify into various other sectors, which is manufacturing and materials and other things. It really sums up the entire long-term vision, the D33 as we call it. Okay, so this it's a 10-year vision from here.
Okay.
Where the authorities and leadership sees the country as, and also managing the emirate in isolation as well. How it rolls up back into the entire UAE.
Interesting. Sandeep, you've been doing a lot of talks at various forums and having conversations about investments, having conversations about the economy at large. From here, if someone has to start, or someone who's not boarded that train of being financially aware or educated, what would be that one big tip that you would tell them and give them?
So educate yourself, okay, so that you can take calculated risks. Don't go with what your friend says. Don't go with
what's wrong with dinner party advice. That's all. I'm kidding.
But education is the fundamental at everything that we do. Financial literacy in terms of finance. I think if you're financially literate and aware, even slight, you will be able to take that first step, and that first step will be, will take you a long way.
Because we've never been in a better position where that information, whether it's, you can look for books, journal articles, official comments, just reading the financial sectors of the newspapers. We've never been able to have so much information at our fingertips, have we?
Correct. I mean, just a very basic example, right? Where Apple introduced their VR gadget for $3,500 or something, is it?
Yep.
Okay. And there are people who are buying that gadget. But the moment you tell the same person, hey, why don't you invest $3,000 in the same company or even in stock markets, they would be scared.
True.
They would be scared to say, hey, no.
But that's not going to look cool on social media.
Absolutely, right?
You went back to your first point, instant gratification.
Okay.
But look, I mean, that is the key. One of the early financial lessons that I learnt, Sandeep, was don't have buy the bank, don't have your money in the bank.
Absolutely. I mean, keeping money in the bank is really, I feel, is a criminal waste. But today, with interest rates being where they are, it is a good option until you figure out what to do.
Yeah.
So don't just keep the money in the bank account. Put it in a fixed deposit. Put it in your Easy Saver accounts.
Yeah.
The high yielding accounts.
Still try and get 2 and 3% somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, banks in UAE on the dirham are offering up to 5% as well.
Wow.
Okay, so by the time you figure out what you have to do, you can actually take advantage of that. In fact, today, if you take out a car loan, it'll cost you 3%.
Right.
So don't go out, pay your cash, because if you keep your cash for a year, you're getting 5%.
5% on that.
And you're paying loan of only 3.5. You're still making that alpha out of nothing.
Yeah. That's a great analogy. That's why everyone needs to be able to get the opinions of an expert, much like yourself, Sandeep Jadwani. You're such an expert on so many factors. I don't know, what is it about? Is it just that you like to be interested in across all facets and businesses and sectors? Is that what drives you?
So by the sheer volume of interactions that we have with people when we advise them,
Yeah.
okay, and they all come from different sectors, different segments, and they have some inputs already, okay, and it's the curiosity that drives knowledge, and it's only knowledge that keeps us in a position of as a confidant. If I don't have knowledge, nobody would come to me. So I say, Fed talk to TED Talk and everything in between.
Ooh, look at that. Nice. I like that line.
This is Sandeep Jadwani joining us, the award-winning head of investment advisory, PEP and family offices. He's a speaker, a finfluencer, business developer. He's got the whole thing, and it's always great to speak to him. Thanks again for coming in here on Kitchen.